Hello and welcome to the Recursion Cafe, where we play games from the discard pile. In today's game of Unmatched, we have Omar on the left and myself on the right. Omar is playing Dracula, a melee fighter with 13 health and 2 movement. At the start of his turn, he can deal damage to a fighter adjacent to him. If he does, draw a card. And he comes in with three sisters, who are his wives, I believe, but they're called the sisters. It's very confusing. Anyway, I am playing Oda Nobunaga, a melee fighter with also 13 health and 2 movement, who comes in with 2 honor guards who have 6 health each. And when he's in the same zone as his friendly fighters, he gives them a +1 buff on attack and defense, although not himself. So this is a bit of a chaotic game. I'm still trying to figure out Oda, and Omar has never played against him before. I also have very little experience playing as or against Dracula, and I think Omar has played him quite a lot. So only one of us really knows what they're doing, kind of. In any case, here comes some of that inexperience. So Omar attacks with a dash from a sister, and I defend with a patience and strategy, thinking, oh, I'll just heal up afterwards. Except the keywords on that card are when the opponent is flanked, and of course the opponent was not flanked, so I just defend with a 1 that's blank, which is a bad start to the game, but I learned it from that point on. So my honor guard is already 2 health down. Here we decide to boost in with a 3, one of the 3s become a 5 when flanked, but I decide to reevaluate how I want to boost that, because it's a 3 boost, and given the formation that Omar's in, I think that this is a good idea, and I get into double flanking position and decide to play Demon King of the 6th Heaven. So I deal 2 damage to each opposing flanked fighter. It was almost perfect, I think. It would have been awesome to get 3 hits with that, but I get 2, that's alright. I take our sister and deal 2 damage to Dracula. Of course, again, this leaves me right next to Dracula, and so I take a damage and Omar gets to draw a card. Now he is up on cards, and I threw 1 away with that patience and strategy earlier. So that was poor timing on my part. So a sister will attack an honor guard with thirst for sustenance, and he did win the combat, so Dracula must appear in any space adjacent to the opposing fighter. And then Omar maneuvers. So that honor guard only has 1 health left. He could have finished him, most likely, but maybe he doesn't have any attack cards in hand, or any relevant attack cards in hand, or he wants to keep up card advantage. In any case, I will boost in and corner the sister that's in the far corner, and one of the honor guards will attack. Just kidding, I will play Reinforce first, just to make sure, just in case of any kind of tricks. Everyone will heal 1 health, I'll gain an action, and then I will attack with an honor guard, who is buffed by Oda's ability. So, sister is flanked, it's surrounded, it's not looking too good for that sister. And unsurprisingly, there is no defense. So it's a patience and strategy, which is 1 value, perfect value there. But I heal that honor guard when I shouldn't have, because the sister dies, and then we check if the opposing fighter is flanked, and of course the opposing fighter is not there. So I misunderstood that card, I kind of just played it without thinking, and so the honor guard healed 2 when he shouldn't have. And that's a good note to know that if you kill a fighter with patience and strategy somehow, then it will not help you and does not trigger. So here is a Feeding Frenzy. Omar boosts in, and it is cancelled by Pragmatism. I believe that I think the only defense cards in my hand at this point were 3 Pragmatism, and of course you really want that for beast form, so it's not ideal to have to defend with that. Looks like I will maneuver and I will attack with Oda, and it's a Student of War into Look Into My Eyes. So that is a 3 value defense, defending a 5 value attack, which means 2 damage goes through and I draw 2 cards. And here is me just kind of banking on the fact that I will be able to draw some sort of defense card. But of course that leaves me next to Omar, and Dracula takes a bite. I lose a health and he draws a card. So far I'm not playing this very well. I'm not using my honor guards with Oda's boost, and I'm leaving myself next to Dracula, but I haven't seen any battle maneuvers yet, which is painful. So here's another Feeding Frenzy into a Pragmatism, fully defended. I don't really want to use any more of those. I've got 1 left, and we've not seen any beast forms yet, so it's not looking good for Oda at the moment. Speaking of, he'll tactically retreat and form a conga line in the top right corner of the map. So this gives us both a chance to draw up cards. I think I'm able to double maneuver and make sure that Omar has to come to me, otherwise he has to discard some cards there. So I'm not hating this position, and it means that they're funneled. However, it looks like I will boost in with a battle maneuvers. I finally drew one. And we'll attack a flanked Dracula. It's a Lightning and Thunder, boosted by Oda, into a Do My Bidding. But that Lightning Thunder is returned to my hand because Do My Bidding lets Omar pick his poison. Unfortunately, his options aren't great. He will get to see my hand and see the information, but there are 3 attack cards and 1 battle maneuvers that could be the options for that. And none of them are particularly good. One of them is a 5 value attack, one of them is a 6 value attack, one of them is a 3 value battle maneuvers, and the Oda card that you can't replace this with. So Omar picks Fire and Flames and takes 3 damage. I think personally I would have picked the battle maneuvers. It would mean that I would move away and he wouldn't get this ping, but it would mean that I would have next to no defense. So it looks like Omar had his own plan and decides to bite a whole lot of us and recover some health. So that definitely works too. I think that was a good analysis of the situation from Omar there, and now he has his choice of cards. So he's done a really good job of keeping up loads of cards in hand so far, and it's always been worrying for me because I'm waiting for that beast form, but it hasn't come up yet. I'm wondering if he's playing out the long game and just trying to bait out all my good defenses before hitting me at the end. So here we have an Honor Guard hitting a sister. It's boosted and it's a Lightning and Thunder, so it will kill the sister, and the effect allows me to move an Honor Guard up to 2 spaces. I am not sure that I do, because neither guard is next to Dracula, even though it looks like it from that point of view, so I'm not so fussed. But Omar will maneuver. He's lost all the sisters, but he still has ways of getting them back, and I will technically withdraw back into the top left corner of the map. So Omar takes a look at the distances and will boost in with a Thirst for Sustenance and attack. Make sure he's not flanked, and attack with an ambush. It's an ambush into Spring the Trap, very fitting there. So immediately I could swap with my fighter. I will not, because it's a 3 value at the moment, because if it becomes Oda it will become a 2. And then Omar will snap a card from my hand. It's a Reinforce, which means 1 damage goes through to the Honor Guard, and then after combat 1 damage is dealt back to Dracula for Spring the Trap. So all in all, pretty even exchange there. Oda's buffing ability coming into play and making sure that Honor Guard doesn't take too much damage. Honestly, it's very satisfying when that ability comes through, and it's all down to the pilot to make that happen, but it can be difficult. So here's a Battle Maneuvers into an Exploit. So no damage done, we both draw a card, and then I am able to maneuver my fighters away from Dracula, just not take that ping damage. And finally, we see those tactics coming into play, but it's pretty difficult when you don't draw one of the 4 copies in your deck in the first third of the game. So Dracula moves in and attacks with another ambush into a Spring the Trap once more. I don't swap any fighters, and it's a Spring the Trap. So that's all 3 of those out of the deck. And 1 damage taken, I believe, and 1 damage back to Dracula. So currently, Dracula's at 7 health, Oda is still at 10, and Honor Guards are on 4 and 3. No sisters left on the board. It's looking decent for me. This is a 5 value Lightning and Thunder into an Exploit. It will cancel the after combat draw, and my fighter will be able to move. I'm in this weird sort of spot where I'm pinned into the corner because I don't really want to walk past Dracula and I'd have to boost past, which means losing cards. So at the moment it's a bit of an impasse and we're both just drawing up again. This probably favours Dracula, but I don't think my hand is particularly good at the moment, so I don't want to engage unless I have to. So Dracula moves in and discards a card. I will attack first action with Student of War into Do My Bidding. And this time, I don't have many cards in hand, and neither of them are an Oda attack card, so it has to be Student of War, which is fine by me. So he gets to see my hand, the Pragmatism, and the Sun and Moon, and then I will get to draw 2 cards and deal 2 damage through. And it's something I'm not particularly upset by, and it was a situation that I unwittingly played around, but there you go, pure skill of course. So I drew 2 cards, and now it's up to me whether I want to keep pressing. I think I do. And so the Honor Guard will attack, and it's buffed by Oda's ability. And it's a feint into a Sun and Moon. So it's a 3 value attack into a 2 value cancel. 1 damage still goes through, which I'm pretty happy about. And Dracula's down to 3. That being said, he will ping Oda for 1, down to 9, and draw a card. So now he has options. Being on 3 health though means that if I get a good flank off and a really strong attack through, then it might swing the game. But of course there's another Prey Upon for 2 value. So 2 of my fighters take damage and Dracula heals 2. Omar's been getting some incredible value from those cards. So it looks like I will swing back on my attack. Action 1, it's a Battle Maneuvers. I had hoped to draw a card, maneuver away, bait out defense, but in this case it got feinted. So I'll maneuver away. And like I said earlier, the corner pocket is kind of awkward, and so that fighter will back into the corner just to not be next to Dracula because he can't walk past without being adjacent. So here's a Baptism of Blood. Dracula recovers even more health and brings back a sister. So now he's on 6, and that's kind of, healing is always a bit demoralizing in this kind of game, but it is a notable and non-insignificant part of Dracula's kit, so it does make sense. here's a Ravening Seduction pulling, I think, Oda next to the sister, or not moving him and just taking that damage from that sister that's been tactically placed there to split up my forces. So Omar's got, I think, 3 cards in hand. I have some number. I'll maneuver in and attack Dracula, and it's a 6 value momentous shift. So finally making use of that those tactics and moving in to hit half of the honor guards into a 3 value dash, so 3 damage goes through. I'm trying to keep that healing at bay. Omar counts his deck, and we both realise that we're coming down to exhaustion here. I will take a damage, and Omar will draw a card. And so he will play Baptism of Blood, recovering yet more health and recovering a sister as well. So at this point, it's where Dracula's ability becomes potentially harmful, because yes, you are doing damage, but you're also drawing a card and just exhausting yourself further. And we still haven't seen any beast forms yet, so that's kind of big in my mind, and I've only got 6 health as Oda. It's won't stop me from being aggressive apparently, so we'll attack, and once again we have a patience and strategy killing a sister, and we incorrectly heal Oda there. So again, my bad, but yeah, we didn't fully read the whole card there. So at this point, Dracula considers backing off, and that makes sense, but we're both coming down to exhaustion here. He's on 5 health and I'm on 8, I believe, and we're rapidly running out of healing. There is the end of Omar's deck, so we know that there are 2 myth forms and 2 beast forms out there. We haven't seen any of those cards being played, and they're of course particularly important cards. So Omar will play Ravening Seduction as a pass and bring Oda closer to himself. And I'll maneuver, and I will think about playing a scheme, but I'll just get to the end of my deck too and place myself in a corner, which means that Omar can't misform next to Oda, his win condition, which is unfortunate for him, but he will, I'm sure, try his best to find a way through. So here's a misform, as predicted. It's not a pass, unfortunately for him, but he is looking to bust through and end this. So he will attack and honor guard. He will teleport to a place where he's not flanked. That makes a lot of sense. And probably attack this honor guard, the red one, who is on 4 health currently. The other one is on 2. I don't think I have many defenses left in my deck, but I feel like I should defend this, otherwise it's a free hit. And here is the beast form, but it's a 4 value defensive momentous shift because of Oda's ability, meaning that Omar either has to chuck 2 cards in to kill him, or just let it be. So that honor guard stays alive on 2. So 2 honor guards on 2 health left, and Oda himself on 8. This looks tough. But Omar will take the damage and maneuver away. And this should kill the sister, which I think we pick up soon anyway, so not a big deal. So I'll reinforce, heal all friendly fighters 1 health, bringing my honor guards up to 3, which is a notable number, because at this point I maneuver and take 2 damage to everyone. So I still have my honor guards, but they're hurting a bit. I'll discard this battle maneuvers, which is just self-damaging at this point, and we will move in and try and take a shot at Dracula. I think it's weird that we have to be aggressive here, but because of the health totals and because of the cards in hand, I think we just have to. And we don't have another pass in hand. So we'll attack its Fire and Flames into a feint. That is a 4 value Fire and Flames into a 2 value feint. So 1 damage left on Dracula. But it's his turn. At this point, it becomes readily apparent that he doesn't want to use his ability, because he will do a damage, kill an honor guard, and then die because he has to draw a card. So here's another misform. Of course, Oda is vulnerable now, and he will turn to face. So now he's got 1 shot at killing Oda, and it's a beast form into the last Pragmatism, which I've held on to for most of the game. So it cancels the ability to boost the beast form, which means it's 3 damage through. I'm down to 4, and I believe Omar still has an action here, but I think we might have forgotten. That happens. That's all right. It's kind of a tense end game. And now it's on me to kind of decide how I'm going to do this, because I am within exhaustion range. So if I don't have a pass, this is a problem. And my honor guards will die immediately as soon as I maneuver. So we'll play Demon King of the 6th Heaven and to do nothing. And then we'll maneuver away. Let's take a step away and take 2 damage, and we're down to 2 health. Having 1 card left in hand, Omar I think is out of options, and he'll maneuver in this particular position and exhaust fully for the win. So that right there is a game. We played a lot of that incorrectly and not quite optimally either. So had we fully understood the patience and strategy, I think Omar fully would have taken this game. It didn't help that both of Omar's beast forms were at the bottom of his deck, but as it was, it came down to a really tight end game, and kind of with some really funny interactions and situations, so hopefully you enjoyed the game anyway. Thanks again for watching. If you want to support the channel, you can check out the links in the description below. Take care, and I'll see you next time.